Good morning. Today we learn a new topic and a new lesson, the Muslim League. Our main topic is aims and objectives of the Muslim League. That is the main topic we have to learn in this lesson. But we will we will discuss the causes for the formation of Muslim League. Okay. Some of the causes. First one, loss of Muslim sovereignty. After the revolt of 1857, the Mughal rule ended. And the British thought the Muslims were the reason for the revolt. That's why the British adopted a policy of repression towards the Muslims. Thus, Muslims totally lost their dominance. Till 1857, they were enjoying dominance because they were the rulers of Delhi. We can say they were the rulers of India. And by the revolt of 1857, the Muslims lost their dominance. And that is one of the cause for the revolt of that is one of the cause for the formation of Muslim League. Another factor is the British policy of divide and rule. The British from the beginning onwards following the policy of divide and rule, but especially after the revolt, the British started a repression towards the Muslims. Main reason was, just as I told, they believed that the Muslims were the reasons for the revolt of 1857. That's why they adopted a policy of repression towards the Muslims. And in a very platform, they executed policy of divide. They gave concessions to the Hindus and they repressed the Muslims. But we can see after 1870s, the attitude of the British is changing. The attitude of the British changed after 1870s because the British realized that the Muslims are not the real cause for the revolt of 1857. And there is one more reason. After 1870s, Indian national movement started to grow. And when Indian national movement started to grow, the British wanted to weaken the national movement, and since the Muslims were not much a part of the Indian national movement, the British changed their attitude and they started giving concessions to the Muslims and they started opposing the Hindus. Okay, this policy of divide and rule adopted by the British, that is another factor for the formation of Muslim League. Then the erroneous interpretation of Indian history. The British historians and the publications interpreted Indian history in a wrong way. They discriminated the Indian rulers, especially the Muslims. They depicted the Muslims as plunderers. The Muslim rulers are plunderers and the Hindu rulers were very cruel to their Muslim subjects. So thus in a wrong way, they interpreted Indian history, and this was taught in the schools also. So this erroneous interpretation of Indian history was also another cause for the rise of Muslim League. One of the main factor that caused for the rise of Muslim League was a role of Sir Sayyid Ahmad Khan. Sir Sayyid Ahmad Khan played an important role in the formation of Muslim League. Sir Sayyid Ahmad Khan. You remember this name? Sayyid Ahmad Khan. So who was this Sayyid Ahmad Khan? Sayyid Ahmad Khan was one of the most prominent Muslim reformer he was a social reformer and a religious reformer of the Muslims. He wanted to improve the condition of the Muslims, and he believed only through educating the Muslims their condition can be improved. Thus, he started many educational institutions. He started a college even. He started the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College at Aligarh. At present, that college later developed into the university which is popularly known as the Aligarh University. So thus, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan established the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College, MAO College. MAO College, that is, it is the short form, Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College at Aligarh. It was established in 1875. He founded the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College at Aligarh in 1875. And in the beginning, the attitude of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was very good. He was not communal minded. In the beginning, his opinion was that Hindus and Muslims are one qawm. One qawm, that means one nation. Hindus and Muslims are part of one nation. That means they are brothers and sisters. But later, the attitude of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan changed, because after the formation of Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College, they appointed British principals in the college. The principals of the college, or principals of the college, were British citizens, and under the influence of the British principal Beck, mainly Principal Beck, under the influence of Principal Beck, the attitude of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan changed. Principal Beck said that Anglo-Muslim unity is possible, but Hindu-Muslim unity is impossible. Beck wanted to create communalism among the Indians. That's why he asserted that Anglo-Muslim unity is possible. Unity between Muslims and British is possible, but Hindu-Muslim unity is impossible. He was telling that unity between Hindus and Muslims, that is not possible. So, under the influence of this Beck, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan also changed his attitude. He started to say that interest of Muslims and Hindus are different. Earlier, the same Ahmad Khan said Hindus and Muslims are one qawm, they are one nation. But now he started to say that the political interest of Hindus and Muslims are different. And he again said the Muslims are a minority in India. Since the Muslims are a minority in India, in case the British withdraw from India, then the Hindus will dominate over the Muslims. If Hindus are dominating over the Muslims, the rights of the Muslims will be in danger. It will not be protected. The Hindus shall not safeguard the rights and the freedoms of the Muslims. That is why Sir Syed Ahmad Khan demanded for the continuance of British rule in India. So thus, Syed Ahmad Khan played a very important role in the formation of Muslim League. But during his time, the Muslim League, the organization, could not be formed. Muslim League was forming only after the death of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. That is in 1906 only Muslim League was formed. Okay. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan died much before that. So most important factor is the role of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. And besides this, some other events were also there that was for the formation of Muslim League. Some of the events were Hindi-Urdu controversy. Hindi-Urdu controversy. There is an event. Hindi-Urdu controversy. Hindi-Urdu controversy, there was a dispute between the Hindus and Muslims in the United Provinces on the question of language. Language, that means on the issue of Hindi and Urdu. Earlier, Urdu was the court language, Urdu was the official language, but later the British decided to change the official language to Hindi. So when Urdu was the language of the Muslims and Hindi that was mainly used here by the other community, especially the Hindus. Okay, main two communities were Hindus and Muslims. So Urdu was the language of the Muslims and Hindi was considered as the Hindus. So in the beginning or by 1900s the official language was Urdu, but due to the demand of some of the Hindus, the British announced that Hindi will be the official language. So when the Muslims' language was shifted, the Muslims were not happy. They questioned this reform, and as a result, there was a dispute between the Hindus and the Muslims. And this dispute is termed as the Hindi-Urdu controversy. That further increased the disunity between the Hindus and the Muslims. Then partition of Bengal, that is another main factor that also caused for the rise of Muslim League or formation of Muslim League. Then the Aligarh politics, Aligarh politics. Then the Muslim deputation to Lord Minto. These were some of the main events that led to the foundation of Muslim League. In 1906, the Muslims decided to send a deputation to Viceroy Lord Minto, and thus on 1st October 1906, 35 important leaders of the Muslims from different parts of the country went to Shimla to meet Viceroy Lord Minto. And their main purpose was to put some of the demands before the Viceroy to safeguard the rights of the Muslims, and they presented several demands before the Viceroy. Some of the demands were to increase the number of Muslims in the elected bodies, to provide financial help to the Muslim educational institutions, to nominate, when members are nominated to the elected bodies, Muslims should be given preference, and Muslim number should be decided on the basis of their political representation, not on the basis of their numerical strength, because if numerical strength, on the basis of numerical strength they are given representation, then there shall be a very less number of seats in the elected bodies, and that's why they demand that when seats are provided in the elected bodies, there should be equal representation to the Muslims also, because that means they are demanding that there should be given seats on the basis of their political importance. They are a separate political group, that is why just as the Congress are getting, the same way Muslims also must get represented. So thus then again they demanded to, when elections are held, they demanded for communal electorates for the Muslims. When elections are held, a separate electoral procedure should be adopted, that is called communal electorate or a separate electorate for the Muslims. Thus, these were some of the main demands put forward by the Muslim deputation to the Viceroy. And when they presented their demands, Viceroy was sympathetic toward the Muslims and their demands. The Viceroy has given an assurance that the Muslims' rights will be safeguarded. So when the Viceroy had given an assurance to the Muslim delegates, the deputation, these Muslims became very happy. And after coming back, the Muslims conducted another meeting in Dhaka. In Dhaka, they held a meeting that is in connection with the Mohammedan Educational Conference. In connection with that is to discuss some of the educational matters. A meeting was held in Dhaka in 1906. And after the meeting, in that meeting, representatives or important Muslim leaders from entire country participated. And when the meeting was over, the meeting was led by the Muslim leader in Dhaka who was called Nawab Salimullah. So an idea rose in the mind of Salimullah. He decided to arrange another meeting in order to discuss the matter of forming a separate political association for the Muslims. Okay, the Nawab Salimullah of Dhaka decided or planned to arrange another meeting. Why? That is to discuss the formation of a separate political association for the Muslims. Thus, immediately he made an arrangement for another meeting. And in that meeting, these Muslim representatives from different parts of the country, they all participated in that meeting also, and they formally accepted the formation of a political association for the Muslims. Thus, an All India Political Association for the Muslims was formed on 30 December 1906, and this organization is known as the All India Muslim League. So, All India Muslim League, a separate political association or separate political organization for the Muslims, was formed. All India Muslim League. Note 6. 30 December 1906. 30 December 1906. Okay, thus another political association, an All India Political Association, was also formed. The second All India Political Association, that is All India Muslim League, was formed. AIML, All India Muslim League. This was the second All India Political Association. What was the first All India Political Association? It was the Indian National Congress, and the second one, All India Muslim League. This was a political as well as a religious association or organization, because the members of this organization was mostly Muslims. This was meant for the Muslims. So this was a religious as well as political organization. And this, after the formation of Muslim League, much changes were there in the Indian national movement, Indian freedom struggle movement. The formation of Muslim League produced far-reaching consequences in the Indian national movement. First of all, it weakened the Indian national movement. How it weakened the Indian national movement? Because after the formation of All India Muslim League, these Muslim leaders asked the Muslim members who were members of the Indian National Congress to quit the Indian National Congress and to join the Muslim League. Thus, a large number of Muslims, they withdrew the Indian National Congress and joined the Muslim League. Thus, a number of members in the Indian National Congress reduced. Secondly, the Muslim League decided not to participate in the Indian national movement. So those Indian people who became members of the Muslim League, they were not part of the Indian national movement. Thus, it weakened the international movement. And the other thing was, after the formation of Muslim League, they decided to have a separate entity. That means they decided to stay separately. They were not ready to cooperate with the Indian National Congress in any of their activities or in any of their national movements. Some of the okay, now we learn the most important topic of this lesson, that is the aims and objectives of the Muslim League. So, All India Muslim League was formed on 30 December 1906 at Dhaka. It was under the leadership of Nawab Salimullah of Dhaka. Now we will learn about the aims and objectives. Aims and objectives of the Muslim League. The first aim or first objective of Muslim League was to promote support to the British government. Promote support to the British government. To promote to the GOVT, that is the short form of government, to promote support to the British government. Indian Muslims shall give their complete support to the British government and they would avoid all the misconceptions regarding the British government. Misconception, that means misunderstanding. They would avoid all the misunderstanding with the British government. And to avoid their misunderstanding. Misunderstanding with the British. Okay. To promote their support to the British government and to avoid their misunderstanding with the British. There means the Indian Muslims. Here, there I meant the Indian Muslims. Indian Muslims shall promote their complete support to the British government. This part, and the Indian Muslims shall avoid or remove their misunderstanding with the British government. Another one is the second aim or objective of the Muslim League was to protect and safeguard the rights of Indian Muslims. Indian Muslims. To protect and safeguard the rights of Indian Muslims. Muslims have to protect their freedom and rights. And if they are having any demands, put the demands before the British government in a moderate and mild language. Okay, to protect and safeguard the rights of the Indian Muslims as well as to put the demands of the Muslims, demands of the Muslims before the British government. British government in how it is to be demanded in a moderate and mild language. Moderate and mild language. What type of language is this? Mild language and moderate language. This moderate and mild language means in a polite way. To put the demands of the Muslims, Indian Muslims, before the British government or the British authority in a polite way, not in a rough way, not making any protest or opposition, but in a polite way make a request. Okay. So second one is protect and safeguard the rights and freedoms of the Indian Muslims, as well as to protect the demands of as well as to put the demands of the Muslims before the British government in a moderate and mild language. Okay. And one more is there. The third demand. Third objective of the Muslim League was to stop or to prevent all types of ill feelings. So Indian Muslims with other communities, to prevent all types of infeeding of Indian Muslims with other communities. That means to stop all types of enmity of the Muslims with other communities in India. So these were the main aims and objectives of the Muslim League. You learn the aims and objectives of the Muslim League by heart. Okay, I told after the formation of Muslim League, they had a separate entity. That means they stood as a separate political organization, not cooperating with the other communities and other political associations in India. But with the passage of time, certain changes took place. That means International Congress Muslim League was forming in 1906. But after 1910 or by 1912, there was a change in the leadership level of the Muslim League. The elderly leaders of the Muslim League changed and the young leaders came to the leadership level, and the attitude of the young leaders was different. The young Muslim leaders were not having the attitude of supporting the British. They did not like to give their complete support to the British. And at the same time, many events also took place. The British started to take actions, and when the attitudinal change was there, then the British started to take actions against the Indian Muslims for participating in certain activities. Then again, in the First World War time, the Indians fought against the Muslims. Muslim, that means Turkey. In the First World War time, Britain was fighting against Turkey, and Turkey was defeated. Turkey was basically an Islamic nation, and the the ruler of Turkey is called Khalifa or Caliph. Caliph is considered as the head of Islamic world. The head of Turkey is called Khalifa, and that Khalifa was considered as the head of Islamic religion all over the world. So Indian Muslims were also respecting Khalifa, and they placed a good position. They had a good place for the Khalifa in their mind. So when this Turkey was defeated, Turkey was attacked by the British and defeated by the British. The Muslims, Indian Muslims, believed that they felt British are against Muslims. So like this, some other incidents were also there. So because of these events and because of the happenings, the Muslims started to change their attitude. They became the enemies of the British. They wanted to take revenge of British. But what to do? The Muslims were not much in number. Muslim League was not much in number. So they, in order to oppose the British, they needed the help of somebody else. So they felt International Congress is a big political association. It has a large number of supporters. So Muslim League decided to join hands with the Indian National Congress in order to turn against the British. Thus the attitude of the Muslim League was, earlier attitude of the Muslim League was changed, and there was a rapprochement with the Congress. They planned to maintain a friendly relationship with the Congress. Thus, as a result of this, the Indian National Congress and the All India Muslim League agreed to work together. Thus, they signed on a treaty in the year 1916 at Lucknow, that is known as the Lucknow Pact. Lucknow Pact. Lucknow Pact, that is in 1916. So first time there was a rapprochement with the Indian National Congress. There was a friendly relationship with the Indian National Congress. And this Lucknow Pact that increased the Hindu-Muslim unity. Okay. So why Lucknow Pact? Muslims, the Lucknow Pact is an agreement signed between Indian National Congress and the Muslim League. Why these parties signed this pact, or what was the purpose? In order to work together on a joint scheme of political reforms. The main aim behind the Lucknow Pact was Muslims wanted to take revenge of the British. That was the main reason. But when they signed the pact, both these political organizations agreed to work on a joint scheme of political reforms. Okay. A joint scheme of political reforms. Political reforms. So, the Indian National Congress and the Muslim League signed on an agreement of joint scheme of political reforms in Lucknow in the year 1916, which is known as the Lucknow Pact. In other words, or simply we can say the agreement signed by Indian National Congress and Muslim League in the year 1916 is called Lucknow Pact. Okay, that's all about Lucknow Pact. Actually, it was not there in the syllabus, current year syllabus, but that is also part of this Muslim Day. That is why I mentioned it. So you learn very well, learn by heart the aims and the objectives of the Muslim Day, and you learn the causes also. Okay, you read the lesson well. This lesson is over. You read the lesson well. Then you find out question answers and write the question answers in your copy, and you learn the question answers very well. Okay, thank you.